I was married for 23 years, and the abuse got worse and worse through the marriage. It started out with verbal and emotional, and ended up sexual abuse. Got to the point where my life was not worth living. Started out when my daughter was born 20 years ago. She had Down syndrome, and my husband couldn't deal with that. So we put her up for adoption.
I haven't had a good, really close best friend since 3rd grade. And when Karen came into my life, I thought it was a bit odd because here I was 45 and we were doing everything together. We just bonded. We were a lot alike, especially then. We were a lot alike, and we shopped together and ate together and walked together. And it was about a year of playing together when she finally shared some of the things she was going through at home.
Through the years, though, the abuse got worse. I lived with ropes tied to my bed and being raped.
Before then, I saw signs of unhappiness in her. I had no idea what she was really going through, but I saw her wearing a mask. I could see that she always smiled when she was saying something painful. She would laugh when something was hurtful that she said, and I didn't know exactly why she was covering up.
I could not live any longer. And one morning, 6:30 in the morning, I was driving to work. I'm a registered nurse. And the cement pole just looked like that's the only way out. So I headed for it. And I figured 6:30 in the morning, people would just think I fell asleep at the wheel. Nobody would know. And I kept getting faster and faster and heading towards it. And I always keep my radio on a Christian station, softly. And all of a sudden, the music came on loud, and a song by the name of "Choose Life That You Might Live" started playing. And it shook me. I started shaking, and I pulled over and started praying, "Lord, I don't know what to do, but you gotta get me out." And that evening, I was walking with my friend Sunny, and I started just saying things. I had never told anybody what my life was like. And I mentioned to her that I was going to kill myself that day.
And she finally shared that her wrists hurt. We were walking one day and she said her wrists hurt, and I said, "What happened?" And then she very tentatively said, "Well, it's from the handcuffs." And right then I felt scared for her, and I found the name of a woman police officer, gave it to her, and set up a counseling appointment with her, and actually went with her.
I went to this counselor secretly for, I don't know, 6 months at least. And one day she brought a flyer to our meeting, and it was Cookie's Retreat. And the funny thing was, I hadn't told her, but I also had picked up a flyer in the bathroom at our church about Cookie's Retreat. And I had emailed Cookie's Retreat, and they responded immediately. And I had been emailing the director, Kim, and she kept saying, "You're welcome to come. All you have to do is come."
I would spend nights praying for Karen. I wrote down stuff she would tell me because I could hardly internalize it. I couldn't believe it. And then I would pray over it. But I couldn't seem to let it go either. It became such a part of who I was. I think I cried all the time for her. She didn't seem to cry much, but I was always the one crying and feeling pain.
I just couldn't do it. I couldn't pull myself away from my children, and I was afraid of my husband. And I kept thinking I needed to stay in the marriage for the boys. It wasn't for the boys. It was the worst thing I did for them.
After she started in counseling, I even called Cookie's retreat to see if they had space for her. I kept talking to her. I wanted her to make all the decisions about her recovery.
The Lord worked so many miracles in my life, and He helped me get to Cookies with my counselor and my friend pushing me to go. But it was my decision, and you have to make that decision to go yourself, or it won't work.
As much as she didn't want to get out of her routine and doing things and a comfort zone, that Cookies was a totally different environment without the stresses.
I was greeted with warm, open arms and smiles that were true. But the first thing I did was fall asleep. I slept for practically 2 days, off and on. It was so peaceful, and I didn't know I was so exhausted. The Lord is there in that presence, and you can feel it. I don't know how to explain the wonderful peace that you can feel at Cookies. It was a relief. It was a relief to actually let down my guard and be me. If you are in an abusive marriage, there's an 800 number to call Cookies. There's an email address. You can email them, your husband or boyfriend or whoever is abusing you. They will never know. You can get out. The Lord is there for you, and so is Cookies. If I had any advice for anybody out there, the one thing that I would say for the abused women: get out. Don't stay. Get out. Call Cookies, email Cookies, tell a friend, and get out. Because it's not going to get any better until He is willing to change. I would recommend Cookies to anybody. They are part of my family, and I would do anything for them. Cookies needs donations. It is free to these women and their children. They feed the women and children. They even have clothes, because some people have to leave without being able to pack. They have clothes there that people donate. If you have items you want to donate, clothes, food, money, anything would be helpful. Call Cookies, ask them what they need. But Cookies needs your help to stay open to help women who need help.